Welcome to the Big 12 Report presented by Dr. Pepper. I'm Wendell Barnhouse, Big12Sports.com correspondent, and this is the fourth season of the Big 12 Report, and I think the 2012-2013 season is not only going to be great for the Big 12 Conference, but I also think it'll be great for this show. I'd like to welcome in my co-host, Carter Babb.
Thanks, Wendell. Glad to be here. The 2012 football season kicks off this weekend, and we'll preview some of the games. We'll also have Wendell's famous shout-outs to wrap up the show. But first, we've got a story about President Barack Obama and one of his own shout-outs about one of the Big 12's football coaches.
Cyclones football kicks off at home this Saturday. I won't pretend I can give a speech like Coach Rhodes can, but I'm going to try.
I turned it on, it was in 2 minutes he said it, so I saw when he said it. Pretty cool, pretty cool. There's some good research done there by his writers. They had him prepared. He didn't know my name before he said it, and he forgot it right after he said it. So nonetheless, it's still pretty cool. He's a pretty good orator. He doesn't hold a candle to anybody. He does just fine.
Well, I got to agree with Coach Rhodes. As an old guy, I think something like that is pretty cool.
Yeah. All right, Wendell, whereas President Obama mentioned football season kicks off this weekend, why don't we take a look at some of the season openers kicking off on Saturday?
Yeah, Carter, we've got 9 games this weekend, 8 on Saturday and 1 on Sunday, and I'd like to focus in on 3 of those games. The first game being Texas opening its season at home against Wyoming. Sophomore quarterback David Ash is going to get the start at quarterback for the 15th-ranked Longhorns, and the big question is how much, if any, junior backup Case McCoy will play. Now, everyone expects the Longhorns' offense to be run-oriented. Sophomores Joe Bergeron and Malcolm Brown, along with freshman flash Jonathan Gray, give UT plenty of options at running back. The defense is expected to be one of the best in the nation. West Virginia, one of the 2 new schools in the Big 12, gets its season started by hosting in-state rival Marshall. The Mountaineers should have a potent offense because senior quarterback Geno Smith is the preseason selection as the Big 12's Offensive Player of the Year, and he's got 2 top receivers in Tavon Austin and Stedman Bailey, probably one of the best receiving duos in the country. Baylor opened last season at home with a nationally televised game on a Friday night, and it's a similar situation for the Bears this season. Sunday night in Waco, Baylor will be playing host to SMU, who will be hoping to pull an upset, and the Mustangs are going to be facing a former Southwest Conference member when they take on Baylor. Now, the Bears hope to get off to another fast start for their season, and Nick Florence takes over at quarterback for Heisman Trophy winner Robert Griffin III. SMU's quarterback is familiar to Big 12 fans. He's former Longhorn Garrett Gilbert, who transferred from Texas and won the starting job with the Mustangs. The Big 12 public service announcements featuring coaches, players, mascots, and Special Olympics participants are going to be debuting this weekend with the conference televised games, and here's a look at one of those PSAs right now.
Putting together the best conference in college athletics can sometimes be a little puzzling, but when the pieces come together, the competition that ensues can be breathtaking. So, block by block, piece by piece, the Big 12 Conference has taken shape. It's a new footprint with some new friends, but the same standards of academic and athletic excellence. The Big 12 Conference, where even for our mascots, it's always game day.
I think those turned out really well, especially with all the mascots running around together. All right, Wendell, let's get to those famous weekly shout-outs. What did you find out for us this week?
Well, I want to start out by talking about West Virginia. The Mountaineers didn't take very long to make an impact in the Big 12 Conference. The soccer team Sunday knocked off top-ranked and defending NCAA women's soccer champion Stanford. Francis Silva's goal in the 83rd minute was the only score of the match and ended Stanford's 64-match regular season unbeaten streak. Now, West Virginia moved up to number 24 in the rankings, and this weekend they face another ranked team when they take on number 6 Penn State. West Virginia also made history in volleyball with its first Big 12 competition when the Mountaineers hosted number 2 ranked Texas. Now, Texas scheduled this match early because they're going to be playing at Penn State later this week. And UT is one of the 3 Big 12 teams that are ranked in the top 25 volleyball rankings. Texas is number 2, Iowa State is number 15, and Kansas State checks in at number 21. Texas Tech is also off to a great start. They're 4-0 this season. That's their best start since starting 8-0 in 2003. And congratulations to Baylor coach Jim Barnes. He recorded the 300th victory of his career as the Bears won the Baylor Classic. And the Summer Olympics provided a great showcase for current and former Big 12 student athletes. The Big 12's 89 participants produced 26 medals, including 13 gold medals. One of the competitors in London will be in action on the football field this season, senior Marquise Goodwin. He competed in the long jump, and he'll be one of the Longhorns' top receivers this season.
That's going to do it for this week's Big 12 Report. Be sure to visit our website at big12sports.com for all the latest news and notes from around the conference, and follow us on Twitter at Big 12 Conference. We'll see you next week.
Ah! Are we just going to do this with subtitles? How much of that is good? Boom!